May your hope be as bright as flaming light, held high along the unknown shores of night. May you never lose the vision of what the years to come could be, and no matter how dark the sea may look, you have the courage within it to dream. And if your raging fire dwindles down to a flickering flame, barely burning now, a victim of the sea's windy rage, do not let go, for hope has not let go of you. Hold on with all you have to the light that conquers blue.
Greetings, graduates, families, and friends. Let us pray together. Loving Creator, source of all knowledge and light, we thank you for your caring hand in the lives of today's honored graduates. Before us sits a vibrant community composed of individuals with unique stories, gifts, and callings, weaving a tapestry stitched together with your love. They have waded the deep waters of a journey filled at times with joy and vitality, at others with struggle and uncertainty. Through it all, you have revealed the depth and breadth of your goodness, the vision of a new creation anchored in hope and healing. We ask now that you would bless the fruits of their labors, that their lives would spill over with tendrils of grace unfurling in dry desert places. We ask, God, that you would be a sanctuary for these graduates in their labor. We know that the journey ahead will not be without pain and hardship. In a world where work is so often tied to worthiness, help them to remember that rest is not a commodity to be earned, but a gift that is freely available in you, in their loved ones, and in one another. We ask that you would be for them a river of justice, reconciliation, and compassion, that you would help them be brave and daring navigators of new waters, and that in these waters you would quench the thirst of their souls. Fill this time of celebration with your presence. Let us hold space for the joy of this milestone and the losses that have been experienced along the way. As these graduates go forth from this place, enliven them with your spirit and grant them tenderness in a world that cries out in anticipation of their callings. We ask all of this in your precious and holy name. Amen.
You may be seated. There is in every person something that waits and listens for the sound of the genuine in herself. There is in you something that waits and listens for the sound of the genuine in yourself. Nobody like you has ever been born, and no one like you will ever be born again. You are the only one. To the Wake Forest University School of Divinity class of 2023, you are the only one, and for that, we give thanks. When this school first started in 1999, it was noted that the threshold of the 21st century is a momentous time to begin a divinity school. With much uncertainty about the future and significant transitions occurring in theological education and in the world on the cusp of the 21st century. That is an understatement for the class of 2023, who entered this school through the Zoom portals of Wake Forest University Information Technology in the fall of 2020 and walked out together today through the doors of Wake Chapel. Yet, each of you have patiently waited and listened for the sound of the genuine in yourselves. And this grand crowd of witnesses, along with the assembly of spirits, are gathered here in Wake Chapel to celebrate you and to thank you for your journey. We are delighted to have with us University President Susan Wente and Provost Michelle Gillespie. They join the Wake Forest University School of Divinity community, our faculty, our staff, our alumni, and most importantly, all of our friends, your family, your churches, and all who support you. We share in celebrating the sound of the genuine of the Wake Forest University class of 2023 this evening with this very, very special program. There is in every person that waits, and listens for the sound of the genuine in herself. There is in every person that waits, and listens for the sound of the genuine in other people. And when these two sounds come together, this is the music God heard when God said, "Let us make them in our image." Welcome to the hooding ceremony and commencement celebration for the class of 2023 of the Wake Forest University School of Divinity. As we celebrate, we also remember. We remember Logan Willis, graduate of the class of 2022, and William Branch, a third-year Master of Divinity student. Wake Forest University School of Divinity Associate Professor of Old Testament Interpretation Neil Walls, and member of the class of 2023, Lisbeth Esquivel Garcia, will come and light candles in memory of Logan and Will. May the words of Howard Thurman offer comfort to their families, friends, and to our community when he writes, "I share with you the agony of your grief. The anguish of your heart finds echo in my own. I know I cannot enter all you feel, nor bear with you the burden of your pain. I can but offer what my love does give, the strength of caring, the warmth of one who seeks to understand, the silent storm-swept barrenness of so great a loss. This I do in quiet ways, that on your lonely path you may not walk alone." May God be with us as we continue to make articulate the depth of meaning of the lives of our dearly departed. And now we will welcome members of the class of 2023 who will offer readings from the Old and New Testaments.
There's been a slight change to the program in that I will be reading from the book of Ezekiel and Jasmine Logan will be reading from the Gospel of John. "The man brought me back to the entrance to the temple, and I saw water coming out from under the threshold of the temple toward the east, for the temple faced east. The water was coming down from under the south side of the temple, south of the altar. He then brought me out through the north gate and led me around the outside to the outer gate facing east, and the water was trickling from the south side.
As the man went eastward with a measuring line in his hand, he measured off 1,000 cubits, and then led me through water that was ankle deep. He measured off another 1,000 cubits and led me through water that was knee deep. He measured off another 1,000 and led me through water that was up to the waist. He measured off another 1,000, but now it was a river that I could not cross because the water had risen and was deep enough to swim in. A river that no one could cross. He asked me, "Son of man, do you see this?"
Then he led me back to the bank of the river. When I arrived there, I saw a great number of trees on each side of the river. He said to me, "This water flows toward the eastern region and goes down into the Araba, where it enters the Dead Sea. When it empties into the sea, the salty water there becomes fresh. Swarms of living creatures will live wherever the river flows. There will be large numbers of fish, because this water flows there and makes the salt water fresh. So wherever the river flows, everything will live."
Fishermen will stand along the shore from En-Gedi to En-Glaim. There will be placed for spreading nets. The fish will be of many kinds, like the fish of the Mediterranean Sea. But the swamps and the marshes will not become fresh. They will be filled with salt. Fruit trees of all kinds will grow on both banks of the river. Their leaves will not wither, nor their fruit fail. Every month they will bear fruit, because the water from the sanctuary flows to them. Their fruit will serve for food, and their leaves for healing.
I am the true vine, and my Father is the gardener. He cuts off every branch in me that bears no fruit, while every branch that does bear fruit, he prunes, so that it will be even more fruitful. You are already clean because of the word I have spoken to you. Remain in me, as I also remain in you. No branch can bear fruit by itself. It must remain in the vine. Neither can you bear fruit unless you remain in me.
The vine, you are the branches. If you remain in me and I in you, you will bear much fruit. Apart from me, you can do nothing. If you do not remain in me, you are like a branch that is thrown away and withers. Such branches are picked up, thrown into the fire, and burned.
If you remain in me and my words remain in you, ask whatever you wish, and it will be done for you. This is to my Father's glory, that you bear much fruit, showing yourselves to be my disciples.
As the ocean, with her arms stretched wide, wide as a river crashing into the tide. That is your justice, your loving kindness. For you are righteous, righteousness like a fountain, and it's flowing deep and wide, deep and wide. There's a fountain flowing deep and flowing deep and wide, deep and wide, deep and wide. There's a fountain flowing deep and wide. Out from the temple to the desert flow, flow, never ending. Make us thirst no more. That is your mercy and your compassion, raising the valley, ringing through the highest mountain, and they're singing deep and wide, deep and wide. There's a fountain flowing deep and wide. There's a fountain flowing deep and wide, deep and wide. There's a fountain flowing deep and wide. Are the eyes of the children waiting, and the people waiting for the manifestation of the children God. And of the pilgrims come, and the wanderers come to receive of the goodness of the Lord. Deep are the questions that we hold inside. Wide are the answers where questions still abide. And this is the calling. I am the water, beckoning the harvest. Help me to be a fountain, fountain flowing deep and wide. There's a fountain flowing deep and fountain flowing deep and wide. There's a fountain flowing deep and wide. One voice we all say, deep and wide. There's a fountain flowing deep and wide.
I am honored to present our faculty speaker for the 2023 graduation ceremony. Dr. Jill Crainshaw is a teacher, scholar, and liturgical poet. Through her writing and teaching, she celebrates life's seasons and seasonings. A well-known author in her field of practical theology, Dr. Crainshaw has written 7 books exploring theological and practical dimensions of worship and religious leadership, including The Writing Work of the People, liturgical writing as spiritual, theological, and prophetic work, and When I in Awesome Wonder, liturgy distilled from everyday life. She is also the author of 2 books of poetry, Cedars in Snowy Places, 52 poems and endnotes, 52 poems and footnotes and endnotes. In addition to her work as a Divinity School faculty member, Dr. Crainshaw serves as the University Ombuds for Wake Forest Renolda campus. Dr. Crainshaw is a Wake Forest alum and earned her PhD from Union Presbyterian Seminary. She is also a minister of Word and Sacrament for the Presbyterian Church. What has Dr. Crainshaw most enjoyed about her work at Wake Forest? She says, "I have delighted in the Divinity School's learning community since 1999, and I celebrate the life-giving difference Wake Div students make in my life and are making in the communities where they live and work. I am honored to be able to share my vocational journey with incredible students and colleagues." We in the class of 2023 have appreciated Dr. Crainshaw's consistently encouraging presence throughout our time at Wake Forest University School of Divinity. She has always been ready with a kind word, thoughtful feedback, and an offer to meet us for coffee. Dr. Crainshaw has worked with us primarily online, offering us both structure and flexibility that has helped us achieve our goals. She fostered both online and in-person spaces that allowed us to hear from one another and offer meaningful feedback. From her, we have gathered immeasurable wisdom about spirituality, liturgy, prayer, and preaching. When I asked my colleagues about her, they said things such as, "Dr. Crainshaw's commitment to social justice and advocacy for marginalized communities is an inspiration to all who know her." And, in addition to her passion for serving others, she is also a gifted communicator and teacher, with a talent for making complex theological concepts accessible and relevant to modern-day challenges. I especially agree with the colleague who said, "Her openness and authenticity create a safe and nurturing environment for all who come into contact with her." I am honored to speak for the class of 2023 as we thank Dr. Crainshaw for how she has invested in us during our time at Wake Forest. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Jill Crainshaw.
Thank you, Carrie. Very kind. And good afternoon, or is it evening, everyone. And congratulations, class of 2023. So, class of 2023, we celebrate you today and all the learning encapsulated in the requirements completed for the Master of Divinity degree and joint degrees. We celebrate the communities of support who journeyed with you to this moment. But in these next few minutes, I want to do something particular. I want to say thank you. I mean, you've written a lot of reports, right? Who knows how many? A lot. So tonight, I've written a report. Malcolm. It's the least I could do, I think. I've titled it, "You Have a Bidden," a final report on what I have learned from the class of 2023. So picture with me peach and plum blossoms, apricot, nectarine, and cherry blossoms too. Can you see the colors? Smell the sweet aromas. And all these are flowering on the same tree. Is that possible? He calls it the tree of 40 fruit. Artist Sam Van Aken grafts multiple kinds of fruit branches onto one tree. He's planted them across the U.S. and Canada. They are his botanical sculptures. And these trees, with their peach and plum and apricot and nectarine and cherry blossoms and colors and aromas and tastes, these trees, they spark imaginations, they stir curiosities. And because they are lush with heirloom and native fruit varieties, Van Aken hopes they save honeybees and our taste buds from monoculture's addiction to high-yield efficiencies. Why the tree of 40 fruit, though? Well, the number 40, says Aken, is a spiritual symbol in many religions that represents an abundance beyond counting. Like the word umpteen. Y'all know that word? Did you ever look it up? It means indefinitely many. Beyond counting. Umpteen. These leafy-armed metamorphoses of science, soil, beauty, and art, these trees, abiding places for umpteen kinds of fruit. And the vine that you heard about in John 15, an abiding place for umpteen branches. And the class of 2023, an abiding place for umpteen callings, gifts. Indefinitely many. All of you, all of us. Abide in me, the story says in John. Abide in me as I abide in you. And I have learned from you, class of 2023, something significant, something needed, something prophetic, something radical, something profound about this calling to abide. Thank you for teaching me. Of course, exegesis complicates interpretations. Learning complicates knowing. And life realities complicate callings. So, John 15, your orienting text and your commencing text. Notice I use commencing, which actually means beginning. Now, I'll leave that for you to think about. John 15, your orienting and commencing text. What a complex world of learning and lamenting, reflecting and rejoicing, belief and doubt. Reside, abide, dwell between orienting and commencing for the class of 2023. That and between the two, Kairos time, the great unraveling and the great transformation. Abiding time, beyond counting, umpteen things learned, umpteen callings explored, umpteen lives connected, indefinitely many. You know, Jesus' friends were living in a similar and. They sensed it that night when they heard Jesus give this farewell discourse, I think, but they didn't quite know it yet. Do you know that feeling? You sense something, but you don't quite know it yet? I see some heads shaking. After all, how does anyone know enough to be ready for the pandemic once upon a time they were about to encounter? How could they know enough to be equipped for a seismic shift of long-settled paradigms? How could those friends grasp Jesus' words as they abided around the table that night and broke bread like they'd done countless times before? How could they grasp the significance, the radical wonders, the meaning, before they commenced to Gethsemane, where dreams they thought they'd planted were cut down and burned away? Before they'd fallen into the abyss of what homesickness can mean in a human life? How could they have known? How many of us know people who are homesick like that? How many of us have been homesick like that? Maybe the homesickness comes because we get lost and can't go home by another way. Or maybe it's because some people have only ever had a house to reside in. Or maybe the homesickness comes because people have no place to lay their head. Or maybe it's because something about home has changed, and they have changed, and the world has changed, and everything has changed. And how tangled life and faith and calling became for those first friends of Jesus. How tangled life and faith and calling can become. You all know this, right? And yet, Jesus said, abide. It's an intriguing word. When I looked up umpteen, I looked it up too. I mean, after all, when did you last hear somebody use the word abide at the breakfast table? We're on the golf course. We're on the quad. Hotel ads don't say, come abide with us. A spouse doesn't say on an anniversary, honey, I am glad we have abidden together all these years. Abide is a rare word, perhaps because the experience of abiding is rare. Not like producing. We know how to produce. I can count bunches of grapes. You can count number of pages read and papers written. We can report on how many classes someone has attended. The world knows how to evaluate productivity. And the world also teaches us something about cutting off or burning away whatever or whomever does not produce in the expected or accepted or bottom line ways. But abiding, that's different. Infinitely many, beyond linear accounting. Like listening for the nightingales whisper sweet nothings through the trees at twilight while a friend holds our hand and we forget the hour and the day and just abide. Or when we sit and break bread together and the flavor escapes and we know it's the Spirit. We abide. Abide shows up in the Gospel of John umpteen times. How's that, Dr. Shaner? That way I don't get it wrong, you see. Abide in me as I abide in you. Abide in God's love. Abide. People in our world are hurting. They need abiding and definitely many gifts of comfort. And you know how to do that kind of abiding. I've seen it. People face violence and oppression. They need abiding truths spoken to power. And you know how to do that kind of abiding. I've heard you do it. People yearn to be heard, and we need their voices. They need an abiding, listening presence, and you know how to do that kind of abiding. I've encountered it. Jesus doesn't ask in this story, doesn't ask us to fix, control, or quantify people. Jesus calls us to befriend them and each other. Yes, Jesus calls us out of the monocultural confinements of oppressive systems to abide with each other, all umpteen of us, in kaleidoscopic embodiments of divine justice, mercy, and grace. You, class of 23, have bequeathed this wisdom to Wake Div and theological education, and me. Thank you for teaching me something astonishing about abiding. By reaching through those Zoom windows to touch one another with a glance, a word, a smile, a gift. By holding on to each other as you journeyed through. By caring about what happens to our world. Thank you for teaching me something astonishing about abiding and reminding me that the only way we can abide and bear fruit is if we do it together, in community. I am the vine, he says. We are the branches. Pastor Nadia Bolts-Weber ponders these verses and makes me laugh. A grapevine? Jesus, can't I be something distinct and independent? Like the soil. Like you are the soil and I am the audacious sunflower. Well, we may be audacious, but we are not independent. We are vine and branches, tangled up together, needing to hold on to each other, nourish each other. This is human life, viney, messy, jumbledy, and teeming with umpteen possibilities. And Jesus, the gospel, calls us to abide in love, in fierce friendship, in this tangledness, trusting the vine grower to lift us up out of the soil so we can thrive. I hope you Google the tree of 40 fruit, all y'all. It is a wonder of nature, art, and stone fruit farming. It is beautiful. But tonight, you can encounter that artistic delight right here. You, class of 2023, are that beautiful, fruit-bearing tree of umpteen fruit. Through entanglements and uncertainties of these 3 years, you have abided with each other, for each other, connected to each other in beloved community. When you were weary, when you wanted to give up, when you were celebrating, when you weren't sure you could believe anything at all, when you were sure you could believe everything, you abided, you showed up, you resisted, endured, remained. You have abidden. And that matters. So in this final report on what I learned from the class of 2023, I say thank you. You have abidden in this place. I celebrate you, each of you, and all of you together. And I anticipate the sweet sacred fruit you will bear to awaken discarded senses, enliven life-weary taste buds, and transform with divine delight wilderness landscapes. I am confident that you, class of 2023, will abide. And in that, you will transform the world. Inspired by a God who creates, a Spirit who dances with us, and one who journeys each step of the way. Amen.
Good evening. It's just really my great honor to be with you here tonight. The Divinity School is often in my thoughts, but especially this past week. Our entire Wake Forest community is, as you have just heard, we are all entangled with you, and we are all embracing you and are here for you. I come today to not only bring, or tonight, to not only bring my message of peace and comfort to you today and in the days ahead, but also to bring my most sincere greetings to you, the Wake Forest Divinity Class of 2023, on this most auspicious day in your academic journey. It's to be here with you as you reflect and look forward. I also want to thank each of our guests who are joining you here today. Family members, parents, spouses, children, friends of our graduates. It's so important and special to be gathered together in this cherished space on our campus in Waite Chapel. So tonight, as we especially gather to celebrate your graduation achievements and the culmination of your Wake Forest Divinity School degree, please know how proud we are of you. Now, of course, we know, and I know you know even better, that no graduate walks alone. Nor did your paths only begin when you arrived at Wake Forest for your divinity education. We know that this day is the result of many, many years of first steps, of choices, of sacrifices, and especially, as we think today, of achievements. And to your family and loved ones and friends and the Divinity School faculty and staff who supported you, graduates, you thank them and I thank them for walking this path with you. Let's thank them. Now, though your paths began before you arrived at Wake Forest, what you do have in common, class of 2023, is that all of those paths brought you here to Wake Forest Divinity, a school dedicated to equipping students to be agents of justice, reconciliation, and compassion in Christian churches and other ministries. And rooted in those values of justice, reconciliation, and compassion, you also learned about Wake Forest's compelling why, our motto, pro humanitate, for humanity. To be a Wake Forest student, and shortly a Divinity School graduate, means heeding our motto's call to embody its spirit at home and in the world, and to lead with courage and integrity wherever you are called to serve. We can take inspiration, as always, from the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who spoke from this very podium in Waite Chapel just months before he delivered his famous "I Have a Dream" speech. King once said on a different occasion, "The ultimate measure of a person is not where they stand in moments of comfort and convenience, but where they stand at times of challenge and controversy. The true neighbor will risk their position, their prestige, and even their lives for the welfare of others." Divinity graduates, you are called to be many things, but you are called to be courageous, to be a true neighbor to others, and to be a catalyst for good in society. I am confident that both what you brought with you to your divinity education and what you will take with you as you graduate has equipped you to be powerful agents for good in our world. My most sincere congratulations to you, class of 2023. We are proud of you. Thank you.
Thank you, President Wente, for your thoughtful words. And now, do we have a drum roll? I am delighted to join President Wente for the conferral of degrees to the Wake Forest University School of Divinity class of 2023. Will the candidates for the degree of Master of Divinity please stand? President Wente, on behalf of the faculty of the School of Divinity, it is with great pleasure that I present these degree candidates to you for the conferral of their degree.
By virtue of the authority granted to me by the Board of Trustees, upon the recommendation of Dean Walker and the faculty of the School of Divinity, and upon the successful completion of all degree requirements, I confer upon you the degree Master of Divinity.
The moment has arrived to hood graduates who have earned the Master of Divinity degree. For each graduate here tonight, this master's hood symbolizes a significant accomplishment. Special thanks to President Wente and Provost Gillespie, who are here with us tonight to signal the importance of this academic achievement, not only for each soon-to-be graduate here, but also for the mission of Wake Forest University. Graduates from each professional school and graduate school receive academic hoods specific to the degree that they have earned through their successful studies at Wake Forest. Each degree has its own color hood. Our graduates this evening are receiving the red hood of the Master of Divinity degree. The School of Divinity faculty will participate in hooding the graduates. We stand with you, graduates, to show our individual and collective pride and delight in your accomplishment. Each student's name will be called, and each student will receive a hood from a hooding faculty member. It is a powerful moment for our graduates and for all of us as we celebrate our students and affirm our students as they turn their feet toward new journeys. The hooding faculty, please come forward, step forward. And the students, please be ready.
Allison Blair Anderson. Sydney Parker Angel. Carrie O'Brien Bauman. Amora Nichelle Brown. John David Budd. Jared Anthony Yuri Sr. Donald Francis Fragali. Lisbeth Berenice Escovel Garcia. Chloe Noel Griffin. Ari Stephen Grubner. Gabrielle Yvonne Interdonato. Madeline Winter Jones. Daniel Winston Lee. Jasmine Elise Logan. Hannah Claire Norum. Elizabeth Willis Richardson. Caroline Lenora Tucker. And last but certainly not least, Beverly Blue. Naoma Marie Walker. please join me in congratulating our Wake Forest University School of Divinity class of 2023.
Class of 2023, it is our honor to celebrate you, and we have been so richly blessed by the fruit that you have offered this community.
Class of 2023, from this place you take with you the fruit that you have so diligently grown, the fruit of resilience, vulnerability, and sincerity.
Class of 2023, you leave a wonderful and distinct legacy to join the legacy of others who have journeyed through this place.
Hello, class of 2023. Thank you for all that you've done. I thank you for the joy and jubilation that you brought to us. But we also appreciate the triumphs that you all overcame.
Class of 23, as I've spent time with you during your journey here over these last few years, I've been privileged to hear your stories and inspired by your resilience.
In 2020, about the time you were coming, the second wave of the pandemic was sweeping across the globe. Then our politics went crazy, and you stayed. Then our politics went crazier, and you came back for the second semester. On top of that, you persisted and were resilient with us.
It's no secret that your class has served as a bridge from the old and the new Wake Divinity experience, transferring the tradition of community, protecting our integrity, and envisioning a brighter future for us all.
You are the flowering trees that bear fruit, and you've left that here. And so from that fruit, those seeds have to grow.
And so here at the end of the year, as we bend to gather the fruit that you as a class have left us, we celebrate the fact that you are the orchard. You are the trees bearing the fruit of compassion and care with leaves of healing, fruit that we will preserve and savor when summer transitions to winter. And you are the river that goes out from Wake Div to the places that need compassion and reconciliation and justice. And that river carries with it community. And not only does it emanate from the sanctuary, but also you are the sanctuary. So we thank you for being sanctuary, not only for one another, but for your community as well.
I know that you're ready to make a positive impact as you leave this place and begin the next chapter in your story. Congratulations.
On behalf of the class of 2023, I am pleased to affirm our commitment tonight to all current and future students who will one day walk this stage, some of them who are here tonight. As a symbol of our dedication to you, each 2023 graduate has been asked to contribute $23 toward a class gift. This year, these funds will go toward the implementation of an outdoor seating space, ensuring that more moments of community and connection might be shared at Wake Divinity for years to come. Our hope is that this space, if anything, might offer you one simple reminder. We, along with our entire Wake Divinity alumni community, are cheering you on until the very end.
The Margaret Woodford Guthrie Prize is given annually to an outstanding student who has demonstrated academic excellence and a strong commitment to various aspects of Christian ministry and has contributed effectively to the school's activities. This year, we have 2 recipients for our Guthrie Prize Award. Our first recipient has been described by one of her nominees as, quote, a bright, shining light as Wake Div. She is an intellectually gifted and dedicated student whose academic work always demonstrates critical and compassionate engagement with the material, her classmates, and the broader community and world. She is always enthusiastic about learning together in community, listening deeply to her peers, and offering her own well-reasoned and heartfelt contributions to discussions in and outside the classroom. She is also a leader in the Wake Div community and on the broader campus. And her commitment to inclusive, open, affirming Christian community offers prophetic witness in her work with undergrad, Wake Div worship, community life, and engagement in Christian ministry outside Wake Forest. She already is and will be a phenomenal Christian minister in church and world that needs her witness. This year's first recipient of the Margaret Woodford Guthrie Prize is Jess Logan. Our second recipient has been described by one of her nominees as someone who has shown on academic excellence in intellectual capacity, curiosity about her learning, and engagement with how theological education functions in Christian community and Christian ministry context. Her leadership among the Wake Div community began during our online year, which was her first year in the program. Self-identifying as an extrovert, she developed ways to get to know her colleagues and build community under some of the most challenging circumstances. She has continued that community building throughout her time at Wake Div. During her third year, she has helped organize opportunities for her colleagues in the graduating class and has invited new colleagues into community building. This year's second recipient of the Margaret Woodford Guthrie Prize is Allison Anderson.
It is my honor to award this year's Bill J. Leonard Distinguished Service Award. And this year we have with us the distinguished scholar, teacher, and founding dean of the School of Divinity, Dr. Bill Leonard. Would you please stand? The award, established by James M. Dunn when he was professor of Christianity and public policy, and his wife Marilyn Dunn, honors the life contributions of Bill Leonard as teacher, scholar, historian, and founding dean of the School of Divinity. Awarded annually by the faculty of the School of Divinity, recipients are faculty, alumni, or friends of the school who embody the principles of Wake Forest's motto of Pro Humanitate. And they also embody the school's mission to educate agents of justice, reconciliation, and compassion in Christian churches and in other ministries. This Wake Forest University undergraduate religion major returned to the Renolda campus when the Divinity School first opened in 1999 to join an elegant group of faculty, best described by the words of Bill Leonard as consisting of 2 feminists teaching Bible, a monk, a controversial expert on religious liberty, and 2 Baptists who have been through the Baptist Wars. Jill joined this group, serving as the School of Divinity's Director of Supervised Ministries, having served as chaplain at hospice and in a retired community, and as pastor of Neriah Baptist Church in Buena Vista, Virginia. Her exemplary service at the Divinity School and at Wake Forest University is legendary. In addition to her role as university ombuds, she is unique in having served the Divinity School as academic dean, interim dean, and as the first and only vice dean. Perhaps this would be enough, but Jill is truly ecumenical in serving the church. Here again, she is unique, having been ordained as a Baptist minister in 1987 and ordained in the Presbyterian Church in 1997. She has gifted us with wisdom and a grace born of nurturing lives attentive to the gifts of the Spirit. For her commitment, dedication, and faithful service to the Wake Forest University School of Divinity community and the university community at large, along with the community of the faithful, Professor Jill Crenshaw is awarded this year's Bill J. Leonard Distinguished Service Award, Pro Fide et Humanitate, from the Wake Forest University School of Divinity. On Monday, May 8th, 2023, in the green room of Renolda Hall, the Wake Forest University School of Divinity community gathered to honor teaching professor of pastoral care and practical theology, Mark Jensen, on his almost quarter century of service to Wake Forest University and Wake Forest University School of Divinity. Founding Dean Bill Leonard joined Academic Dean Kevin Young, Professors Jill Crenshaw and Gary Anderson, and along with myself in paying tribute to Mark's faithful commitment, dedication, and service to our very special community. This evening, we wish to recognize and thank Mark once again for his amazing service. In my tribute to Mark, I raised the question, what kind of Baptist is Mark Jensen? I offered some highlights of the kind of Baptist that Mark Jensen is, but I forgot one. When I visited Knollwood Baptist Church earlier this semester, I saw a familiar face in the choir, none other than Mark Jensen. You see, Mark is also a singing Baptist. So Mark, as you enjoy your retirement, we offer you this book of Wake Forest songs. May your singing remind you of our special community, as we will always treasure the times you shared with us here at Wake Forest University School of Divinity. And may the rhythms of the Spirit continue to bless and keep you. Thank you so much, and God bless you. We have truly been blessed this evening. Once again, congratulations, class of 2023. We are blessed and we give thanks for the gift of this evening, for this community, and for this class of 2023. As we embark on the rest of our lives, may we continue to wait and listen for the sound of the genuine in all of us. And when we do, we will embrace the teaching of the river. The river reminds us to sing your own song. Sing your own song, says the river. Sing your song, sing your own song, for out of yesterday's songs comes tomorrow. Sing your own song. With your life fashion beauty, this too is a song. Riches will pass and power too, but beauty remains. Sing your own song. All of this is worth doing. Do well, the river says. Sing your own song. Certain and round the measure, every line graceful and true. Time is the mold, the weaver, the carver, time and the workman together. Sing your own song and sing it well. Sing well, the river says. Sing your own song and sing it well. And when you do, may God bless and keep you. May God make God's face shine upon you and be gracious to you. And may God turn God's face toward you and give you peace. Amen.
Go.